Hello my people, welcome to another tutorial. My name is Agnes in case you're new to this channel. In today's tutorial, I will show you how I created this maxi skirt. I think it's stylish and modern according to me, and I drew inspiration from these or midi silk skirts that you see around. I just couldn't find one that fits me, so I went into that direction and I think it turned out great. So I wanted to create something unique, so I paired it with this rainbow colors at the bottom, and I think it just makes it look, colorful and unique, and you can style it differently. This is how I styled it here with a belt and these shoes, and it's up to you to style it the way you want. So you can also make it in different sizes and lengths. I will tell you what measurements you need to do that, and yeah, let's begin. For the yarn, I'm going to be using this Kira yarn from Wollidu. It's 100% cotton yarn. It's mercerised yarn, so it's silky. This is the color I'm using. I will also use the rainbow colors. It's 50 grams, 125 meters. I used 8 skeins for this cream color. It recommends 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter hook, but I'll be using a 2.5 millimeter hook because I want my stitches neat. So that's why I'm using a 2.5. It gives you neat and tighter stitches, which I love. You need a tape measure, scissors, and a stitch marker. So we are just going to go straight into it. So we are going to start with a foundation chain, and this foundation chain you will need your bust measurements. So take your bust measurements. Why do we need bust measurements? Because we need our skirt to pass over our head and our shoulders down to our waist. So we are going to make a chain that is equivalent to our bust measurements, but this chain we will have to stretch it. So stretch this chain until it fits your bust measurements, or you can just stretch the chain and wrap it around your bust. And we are using bust measurements because I'm assuming that's the biggest part of our upper body, but if your belly is your biggest part of bigger than your bust, then use your waist measurements. So any biggest part of your upper body, that's what you make as your foundation chain. Stretch it like this, okay? So my bust measurements is 32 inches. So I'm just going to fold this in half. 32 divided by 2 is like, what, 16? So because I'm folding it in half, that is. So as you can see, it's just about 13 inches when it's not stretched. But if I stretch it, then it goes to 16. Okay, let me show you. So hold the last bit of your chain there, put your yarn there, your tape measure, and then stretch the chain. You see, when it's not stretched, it's about 27, but if I stretch it like really hard, then it goes to about 32, and which is my bust measurement. So with this I know that it will pass my bust, okay, because we are wearing our skirt from up our shoulders downwards, not from under our hips upwards. Okay, so do the same. If you don't have a tape measure, just wrap around your bust and stretch. Okay, so join your chain and then chain 2, because we are going to start working with half double crochets first. Okay, so I joined one end of my chain to the other end, and now we are going to start working half double crochets. Okay, chain 2, and then go into this very first stitch because our chain 2 did not count as a stitch, and make a half double crochet. Yarn over, go into the second chain and make a half double crochet, and we are going to work half double crochets only for 2 rows. Okay, so work half double crochets till the end of this round, and I will meet you there. Just to note, this tutorial is not beginner friendly because I'm not giving you like every little detail. It's more of people who already know how to crochet and can get along quick. Okay, so I'll meet you here. So I'm getting to the end, and this is going to be my last stitch. And then I'm going to close this round off with a slip stitch on top of that chain 2. Okay, then you're going to chain 2 again, and this is our second row of half double crochets, and on top of that first half double crochet you are going to make a half double crochet. And you are going to go into every stitch making half double crochets until you get to the end. So 1 half double crochet in every stitch. All right, so go all around and I will meet you at the end. So I'm coming to the end, and our next row is going to be different. So this is where you put your last stitch. You know where you had that chain? Inside that same hole you put your last stitch in there. Okay, just look closely where I put my last stitch. So for the next round it's going to be the X stitch, and we're going to make 3 chains, not 2, because you're working with double crochets. So you yarn over, and on top of that previous this very first stitch here we are going to make a double crochet. So we did not count the chain 3 as a stitch. And then we are going to skip this next stitch, and then into the third stitch you are going to make a double crochet. We want to make the X stitch, so that stitch that we skipped we'll come back to it later. So 1 half double crochet, double crochet, not half. Next is another double crochet, and then our next double crochet we go backwards to the one that we skipped, like this, and make a double crochet. Show it to you again. So go backwards in this stitch that we skipped and make a double crochet to make that X. All right, then we are going to go into the very next stitch and make a double crochet like this, and then you skip the next stitch and then work double crochets in the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, and then your third stitch go backwards in the stitch that you skipped. 3. Okay, and then work a double crochet in the very next stitch, and then you start again. So skip the next, and into the next one work 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches, and then the third double crochet work it backwards in the one that you skipped, like this. And this is optional, you don't have to do this. If we want to do it all in double crochets you can do that without this part, but I think the little detail is just makes it look better. All right, so you're just going to do this pattern until you get to the end of the round, and then I'll meet you there so that we can close this row off and start on the next one. So I'm coming to the end, and I have a few stitches left, so I will not be able to make the X, so I will just work double crochets. And look where I put my last stitch, please. This is not my last stitch, so this is where I insert my last stitch. So yarn over, under that chain 3 there is where you are going to place your last stitch, like that. Okay, that's very important. Then on top of the chain 3 you are going to slip stitch and end your row like that. Then chain 3, start on the next one. So go on top of the previous double crochet and make a double crochet. and this row is going to be a row of double crochets all through. So we are going to go on top of every double crochet, putting a double crochet in every stitch. And on this row we are going to start our increases, because we need to increase so that we can accommodate our hips and the flow of the skirt. You see how it looks like it goes while increasing. So I want to make 4 increases on every row. Okay, 4 increases. Okay, so at the last stitch we're already making an increase here. When we end, that is always an increase, right? So that is one of them. So for the other 3, we need to make them around this skirt. Okay, so I think we will put one around this corner, in the middle here, and also in the middle here. So that makes it 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, doesn't have to be in a specific place, but around those areas. Don't put them all in one. So I'll pull up a loop here, put a stitch marker if you want to, and then I'll meet you there. So I came from here to where my stitch marker is. I take it out. Now we need to make an increase. So I am going to insert 2 double crochets in that very stitch. So that is 1, same stitch, another double crochet. So that's our first increase. So I'm going to work 1 double crochet in every stitch until I get to the next increase. Okay, so this will be around this corner here, and then I'll make another increase here, and then I'll meet you when I'm ending the row. Also make those increases, and I'll make the last one with you. So we did 3 increases. Now this is going to be our last one. So like I said, here, right here, we are always making an increase when we put our double crochet under that chain. Okay, so that is an increase itself, because we have that stitch there and then the chain stitch, that's already 2. All right, so just close it off like this, and that's already an increase. All right, so we are going to do another row of the X stitch, and in this row we don't really increase. We don't make the 3 increases. We are only increasing at the end of the row, but after that we will be increasing in every row. I only have 2 rows of X stitch, right? So we will be increasing those 3 parts in every row apart from where we have the X stitch. So let's do the X stitch row and then begin to increase again. So you are going to make a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet, and then skip the next stitch, and then in the next stitch make a double crochet, and right after that make a double crochet. Then the 3rd stitch, go backwards to the one you skipped and make a double crochet, then a double crochet in the very next stitch, and you are just going to repeat this. I will meet you at the end of the round. You already know how to do this, so yeah, that should be easy. I will be doing a giveaway for Wollidu Yarn in the coming days. So if you don't follow me on my Instagram, it's AC Crochets. Follow me, and you could participate and maybe win some yarn. Okay. So coming to the end, and I think here I have enough stitches, so I'll skip and then make an X, which should be my last one. Go backwards and make my last, this one, which should be an increase. So under that chain 3, I will make a double crochet, then close it off, and from now on we are going to increase those 4 stitches on every row until we have our hips measurements. So take your hips measurements, know how many inches they are, and we are going to increase until we get to those inches. So chain 3, and this is going to be a row of double crochets, and we'll do double crochets from now onwards. So make double crochets in every stitch until you get to the part where you need to increase. It doesn't have to be specific in one line, otherwise it would look awkward. So you need to space your increases. You know, when you increase the previous row, then the next row at least maybe skip, I don't know, increase after like 10 inches, stitches, or increase before 4 stitches, like that, so that's not in one place. But make sure you increase 4 stitches in every row until you get your hips measurements. I'll come show you. So I increased on every row. This is how it looks, okay? And let's see if we can see where my increases are. They are not like in very specific place, you know. I increased like here, some are like, you know, scattered around like this, so that it's not so obvious. All right, so scatter them around, and yeah, so like I said, increase until you have your hips measurements. So how do you know you have your hips measurements? You need to keep measuring your work. So my hips measurements is 33, and of course that is all around, so half of that, because I'm measuring from corner to corner, that should be 16.5. 16.5 times 2, if I was to measure all around, it would be 33. Okay, I hope that's not confusing. People are always confused about that. So once you have your hips measurements, we are going to change the sequence of increasing. We will not be increasing on every row, but we'll be increasing after every 2 rows. So you do 2 rows of no increase, and then the 3rd row you do increases, okay? So you do that increase until you have your hips measurements plus 5 inches. So we were only increasing after every 2 rows. So 2 rows of no increase, the 3rd row you increase. 2 rows of no increase, the 3rd row you increase until you have your hips measurements plus 5 inches. So mine would be what, 33 plus 5 is 38. So if you divide that into 2, that's why you see it's, you know, 19 inches for me. Okay, so now we are going to change the sequence of the increasing right after this. So now we'll be increasing in every 8th row. So you do 7 rows of no increase and then 1 row of increase until the bottom. All right, so I worked till below my knees, and then now I changed color. I put all these rainbow colors, and it is my skirt is about 30 inches long. And once I was done with the bottom, I went back to the top. As you can see here, the X stitch, I'm doing like 1 row of X stitch and then 1 row of double crochet, like we did at the top. 1 row of X stitch, 1 row of double crochet, and I did the rainbow at the bottom. And then I went back up and I did rows of single crochet. These are rows of single crochet, just to give that waist, so that your skirt is, you know, fitting your waist very well. Otherwise it would be big. So once you do those rows of single crochet, tight single crochets, then it looks really perfect. It fits you perfectly. Okay, so that's it. I think you style it the way you like. I hope you like it. I love it, actually, that the yarn, I don't know if you use acrylic yarn how it would turn out, but with mercerized cotton yarn, it just flows nicely on it. The flow is amazing, you know. It's just silky and flowy and just nice. So I hope you like it. If you do, please share this video to your friends and leave a comment in the comment section, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye guys.